All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV, where tonight we have the Area 51 Super Speedway Gen 4 Series here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Drivers making their qualifying laps as we speak. It will be 100 laps here tonight, and as always, drivers will have that one faster pair available with two Green White Checkered attempts in the option if needed in tonight's event. And so, of course, this is the shorter track of the Super Speedways, 1.5 miles, which means stuff's going to be happening very quick. Laps are going to be even quicker than the other tracks. Looks like right now in Q trim here, Brandon, about just under 31 seconds. So laps will click by very quickly under those green flag conditions compared to the 40-something seconds at Daytona Talladega. So things will happen quick here, a lot narrower. There are 3 lanes, but it's kind of use that third lane at your own risk. So we'll see it. The question's going to be when.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely an interesting race. We've seen these guys, a couple of these guys get after it on Thursday and made for quite an interesting race. So when you put 25 of them together, I expect the same thing.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. And got to go quick over the results from the last couple races. The initial season opener won by Nick Wing, and then the last 2 races, it's been a Groover victory on each one. Patrick Groover winning at iRacing, Seth winning at Daytona, so we'll see if they're able to continue their streak with one another. And then with that win, Patrick Groover currently an 8-point lead over Kevin Hash, second in the points. And then Ryan Decker, Dean Wilkinson, and Seth Groover right now sitting in that top 5. So again, I wouldn't say too early to look at points, but this one will complete after tonight's race. We'll be halfway through the regular season, so we will have to start looking at that a little bit closer, as again it'll be the top 12 in the points that move on to go for that championship in the final 4 races, and they will get a very nice plaque courtesy of Ranger Creative Concepts. You can see their logo down there on the bottom, and you can find them on Facebook if you search for Frank Ranger. Say big thank you to Frank for putting these on this season. Had a really nice one last season for Gabe Butler getting the championships over there. And yeah, just a really cool thing that he's able to do. I've seen some of the stuff that he's been doing from some of the other leagues that he helps support, and yeah, there's some really good looking ones. And we always joke, Brandon, about whether or not we want to race or be in the booth. That plaque is kind of one of those things, like, I kind of do want to go after that and get a nice little trophy or plaque to put on to kind of show off a little bit. So yeah, big thank you to Frank for putting that on for these guys.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool looking trophy. I've even looked at it of maybe using it in my coach football locally, and it was just a pretty cool design how he made that for the past champion. And speaking of the past champion, qualifying's wrapping up, and I see him on P1 up there.
Yeah, saying, I mean, this is his race to go after. I say we're official St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, but I say I'm guessing over the weekend most of the St. Patrick's festivities have been going on, and Gabe celebrates obviously year round with his Guinness sponsorship. So I say we'll definitely have some more green cars in the field. We talked on Thursday, Brandon, about I had the Navy car, you had I think it was the Bellhaven car, or truck, I should say. And so we're running into that again tonight. So fingers crossed. We did some work on the background, try to work some magic in here. So hopefully we'll have the right info tonight on those cars. But before we get to any of that, field's about to get to grid. So let's pull up our starting grid. And just like you said, it is going to be Gabe Butler on that pole position in that number 88 machine, as he will start in front, or sorry, next to Charles Johnson. Then you're going to have Ray Rittenauer there, third, Jack Walls, Kevin Hash, our top 5, Eric Laurie, Todd Merkel making his return to Area 51. Love Todd having him back here tonight once more. And then Bud Steele, Jacob Lee, and Tom Dixon, our top 10. 11th and 12th, you have Dude Conrad and Dale Rapp. Continuing down the qualifying order, you then have Robert Amaral, Jason Bogart, Dean Wilkinson, Mike Allen, and then Nick Wing, again, our season opener winner. Then Ryan Decker, Frank Ranger Jr., and Joshua Highball there in 20th. Then Anthony Lane, there we go. Gary Huffines, I'll get it right. I swear I'll remember it. Seth Groover, Zach Perry there, 24th. And those will be our 24 starters here this evening. And unless I missed it here, Brandon, I'm seeing one Groover, but not the second Groover. So that will change the point standings a little bit before we get to those drop weeks.
Yeah, that is our points leader, and I'm not seeing him neither on my screen. So as we talk about as the season's progressed, you got to take opportunities when they come about, and so when the points leader maybe can't make a race, and this is another reason why some guys might push it a little bit harder and maybe sneak in their first win.
Yep, exactly right. And, big shout out and good evening to Jacob Lee Racing. The driver likes to spy on the broadcasts while he's racing, so we got to make sure we don't give too much good suggestions in this one because we don't want to give these drivers an extra advantage over their competitors. We want them to kind of have to get it done themselves. And looking like maybe there are a few drivers missing the grid or opting to start from the pits here tonight. Actually, we got a couple of them here tonight, Brandon. I see Kevin Hash, I see Jason Bogart, Zach Perry, and I think Nick Wing as well. So I think we're going to have 4 drivers starting from pit road here tonight, which again, there's that risk versus reward, you could call it, where maybe if something happens early in the main pack, you might get through kind of unscathed. But at the same time, 1.5 mile track here, that could put you risk of going a lap down very early on.
Yeah, I think you always have the risk of having that when starting in the pits. But what we have seen with a lot of these good drivers is that in multiple different classes, they've been able to have 3 or 4 guys in the back and make their way back to the front. And then a quick yellow, puts those guys right back in the mix. So hopefully when they get out, they don't go over the line to get that penalty, because pit road penalties are crucial here.
Yeah, and I mean that was the name of the game on Thursday night, was pit road penalties, because we went nearly caution free, had that late yellow, but at that point the damage had been done for most of them. Those drivers were, I think we had maybe 8, I want to say it was 8 or 9 drivers at most that came through unscathed. I think it was actually less than that, because a bunch of them had that penalty, like I said, either speeding on entry, unsafe entry, things of that nature. So we'll keep an eye on it. But however, we're going to hand over to our front row, Gabe Butler on the inside, Charles Johnson to his outside, and we are underway here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway, as Gabe Butler is going to lead them into turn number 1. And unfortunately, I did see a blue car for Bud Steele, so I still got some magic work to do here.
Yeah, we got a tight squeeze already here by the 9 of Charles Johnson, getting to the bottom as we see the 03 and those guys start to roll out of pit road. What does make me a little nervous is that 76, he's going to be by himself, so a little bit of slower start for him, but we're clean as the front row starts here, and got Gabe looking like he's going to bring us to the front into first lap.
Yeah, looks like Gabe will take lap number 1. Right behind him, he's got Ray Rittenauer, again, one of those guys that he's always one to keep an eye on. And then mentioned again, glad to see him back over here with Area 51. He did a lot when we were doing the kind of the more NASCAR oval, the cookie cutter, short tracks type series. Todd was definitely one that was always involved in those ones. So love to see him back behind the super speedway side of things. And I think Atlanta is one of those ones where it's a super speedway, yes, but it's still one that you really have to drive here, Brandon. You can't just pretty much foot to the floor the whole way around. Talk to some of the drivers pre-race, and they told me the exact same thing, where you're going to have to manage the right front tire in this race. So we'll kind of see who's able to kind of take care of it early, and then who's going to abuse it later on in the run. So hopefully, say these guys able to manage their stuff. And also fuel mileage, I was hearing somewhere in the mid-30 range, so it should be right in that window of this being a 2-stop race going around. Again, that 33.66 number kind of being that magic point. So, but right now though, saw Seth Crew there, big slide there through the tri-oval. Looks like he's able to hang on to it, but yeah, he had a moment there, and you can see there's the momentum loss he has. So 081 Anthony Lane, just a little drift up there in that Taco Bell machine. But again, still everybody able to hang on okay. And then Kevin Hash, again, I think he was the first that came out of pit road from the pits, and he is not quite in the draft, but not doing too bad overall, honestly. And then the 3 cars that found themselves starting in the back, they are all working together. That's Bogart, Wing, and Perry.
Yeah, that's not a bad little group there to have. Those 3 cars, they just got to stay a little tight. As hard as it is, you don't want to wreck the guy, but you want to keep it close. And there for a second, I thought maybe the 32 had drank him a large glass of iced coffee because he was making a good run there on that outside, kissed the wall. But you see him charging early, trying to get to the front. Is we see the 071 of Juan take the lead.
Yep, I'll say Juan Jose Lori in the Juan Deere machine, trying to get himself to the point. He will lead that lap. We'll see, can he clear his teammate, or does Gabe even try to maybe play a little nice and roll out of it a teeny bit to let him in? But it looks like at the moment they will stay side by side. And got to give a good evening to Paige. As you see Ray Rittenauer, he's actually going to drop off the back here. And I think I know exactly why here. It's going to be some team strategy. He's going to wait and pick up the 0-3 of Kevin Hash to help Kevin kind of, same thing, kind of keep the pace up on these guys. Because I do got to mention, I tell you, Paige is rooting on these guys here. Jason Bogart, Zach Perry, they were quicker than the leaders that last lap by about 0.2 of a second in this 3-car draft. So again, sometimes the smaller group could be a benefit for the pace. And I think that's what Ray and Kevin are going to try to do, is work together and again, minimize that time loss, see if they can keep those two on the lead lap.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference, when you got, as many guys that we did have start in the pits, trying to go back there and just keep yourself on the lead lap. And, you never know what's going to happen when we got to come to pit road or anything like that. But looking at the front, I'm trying to keep my eye on the field here. But for the 4th week in a row, I'm going to have to give, so far, we haven't been through the field yet. I've seen a couple I might like, but the 21 of Jacob Lee still bringing that great looking paint scheme to the racetrack. I really like how the colors and the number pops, and interesting to see how Todd being back here is going to push the 88, maybe get him back up front.
Yeah, and Jacob is definitely given everything he can to Eric there. And then you can see how well those two are working together, keeping that pace built up. So, yeah, right now, definitely a really good job by those two on the outside line. Dude Conrad starting to creep up there. And, of course, as we always mention, if there's an outside line, there's going to be a groover taking that lane. And that is right now Seth, who at the moment is our highest climber, up 12 positions into just outside the top 10, which now, as they say, that he just cracked the top 10 in that 32. Dean Wilkinson as well moving forward there. He is up 9 positions. But again, though, I kind of watch these guys, Brandon, who is maybe managing their tires, their fuel. Because again, the further you can go on these things, this is a track you will get lapped under green flag conditions when you hit pit road. So maybe worth saving that a little extra. If you can pit that lap or two later, could pay off huge dividends during the pit stop cycle.
Yeah, definitely saving your tires. We spoke with Matt, the winner of Thursday's race, and that's what he was most crucial about. You're starting to see these guys, as we're 11 laps in, they start to wash up as much as they don't want to, but the grip starts to go away. And the thing is not overcorrecting it when you go to turn tight in, and when finally grips in the middle of the corner, and it's going to definitely be interesting.
Yeah, so we'll be keeping an eye on them. Jumping around, let's say, I'm looking as well. Another high climber here early on is that number 19 of Gary Huffines right now in that tracker machine. And if I remember right, I'll say part of me wants to zoom in on that car, part of me doesn't, but it's a really funny modification of the Bass Pro Shops paint scheme. So I'll let you zoom in on yourself, Brandon. You can see what you think about it. I always get a chuckle whenever I see that one. And maybe we'll show it off a little later on, but actually, what Gary needs to do is, if he gets a podium tonight, Brandon, he's going to force us to zoom in on that car, and we can talk about it as, just saw one catch the outside wall. That was, I believe, Mike Allen, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, not Mike Allen. Is it Joshua Highball? Got to find the right paint scheme. There it is. It was indeed Mike Allen. So he's got the Dale Earnhardt, the kind of the colorful scheme. The Peter Max, if I remember correctly, from the 2000, I believe, I think Coke 600 and the All-Star race. One of the very rare times to see a Dale Earnhardt paint scheme very colorful.
Yeah, and maybe not, but as we had that shot coming down the front stretch there, it looked like he had a little bit of damage on that front right nose of that. So it's going to be interesting to see if he does have a little bit of damage. Might be a few extra seconds in the pit road, so that could be a little bit more painful in the long run.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a little right front crinkle. Like you said, when we get the right camera angle, you can kind of take it, and yeah, you can see it right there. Definitely that right front fender pushed in a little bit. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. But like you said, that's definitely one where you opt to get that damage repaired. You don't take a fast repair on that one. I think he'll be okay, and especially right now. I mean, he can still easily hang on to that draft. So, and I'm still watching lap times as well. I haven't forgotten about our guys, Kevin Hashray, Rittenauer. Last time by, they're actually a couple tenths quicker than these guys up in front, and they can see them. They can't grab the draft yet, but it was a 30-60 to the 30, almost a 31 up front. So almost 0.3 of a second quicker. And here's why right there. You can see it, the gap between the 88 and the 2, it's about a half a car length or so. And that's, again, I think for Todd, not wanting to force the issue too much, especially he's got a car to the outside of him, can't really let the car wash up. Then we drop to Kevin Hashray right now. You can see the separation now, but watch as they come out of 2. And you can also see they are able to drift that car up all the way to the outside lane, open that wheel up. Ray gets right to the bumper here as they enter 3. And then same thing, build a little separation through the turns, and he'll lock right back on. But again, importantly, they're able to really take care of their tires because they can keep that wheel opened up and not have to keep it cranked down. And same thing back here, you can see these guys still working together as well. Lap times, again, still a couple tenths quicker than leaders, but at this point, they're about a half a lap down. So they're going to need a little bit of help. And when there's a pack like this, there's always that potential. Any little mistake will wind up having some big issues, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's where those guys in the back, where you just have to look at it as a blessing in disguise. That when it comes to pit road, and we're going to be there in about maybe 12 to 13 laps or so, that you know who you got around you. You don't have a bunch of guys, and especially at Atlanta with having to come in off turn 3, you can keep that momentum built with less pack of cars. So they just keep plugging away at it, and I would assume maybe without a caution, maybe a pit stop or 2, and they'll be right back up there, hopefully.
Yeah, I think I see another little bit of a right front crinkle. Yep, there it is right there. You see Frank Ranger. He's got a little bit of right front damage as well in that number 17. So unfortunately, maybe a little bit of contact to the outside wall as well. And that has cost him a chunk of time to the group in front. Looks like they'll catch back up. They're about a half second back. But that car is looking really tight to me now, Brandon. Looks like you watch him as he enters the turns. It's not holding the bottom. It's definitely washing up here. You can see again right there. Look how high that thing is drifting. He's right on the edge of the fence. I think, yep, there he's hooked in it just a little bit. So that car, to me, says A, the damage, but then also B, that right front might be kind of worse for wear here at the moment. So he's going to have to really start to back down his turns to make sure that he does not keep having that issue. Again, it's that risk of losing the draft, but it's probably better that than catching the outside wall. So he might be one of our early pit stop guys once we get into that fuel window.
Yeah, and I think what we've really noticed about this model of car that iRacing has brought to us currently is with these cars that the damage, it may look minor, but inside the race car, it's a lot worse. So as we've seen there, it was just maybe a crinkle, but that he could, it just maybe knocked in the wrong part. It makes that car super tight. And I think Frank maybe knew he had a little bit of damage, and that's why he was maybe right in the high side. Oh, as you see, he got kissed in the wall there.
Yeah, just caught there a little off of too, yeah.
I think maybe a little bit of it was he knew he had that damage, and he was trying to let the guys go and stay on the top. But they got it straightened back out, and as long as he can hang with the pack, he can get in there and use that fast repair and be all right.
And you can see things have shaken up a little bit up towards the front. Jacob Lee, he's found an opening to slot down onto the inside lane. And you see Dude Conrad, he's working his way forward as well in that 8. And now look at the movement up front, though. Look at Gabe. He's starting to work maybe either both. No, I think Gabe's actually, well, I was going to say maybe not working both lanes, but same thing, maybe opening up that wheel, just trying to keep that thing wound up a little bit. And you can see Todd Merkel starting to fall off the back of him a little bit. And Charles Johnson's going to try to take advantage. Todd saw it. He's going to have to jump top here. Charles going to try to grab that second position. Now he's got Dean Wilkinson locked on his rear bumper. But I think same thing. I think Todd might be starting to get a little tight in that number 2 machine. And I think Charles saw that and said, all right, I got to take advantage, because you could see he wasn't really able to hang with Gabe as well as he was early in the run. So I think we're starting to see that tire wear start to kick in here.
Yeah, most definitely. I seen the 32 kiss the wall as you had the camera. I seen him in the back right corner. So good job of the 32 of hanging on to that, not getting into nobody. It didn't look that bad. Hopefully it's not. But I was seeing him in the 071. I thought they was going to make a run there. So Tight fit there by the two of Todd Merkel, and I really like his paint scheme. Sometimes simple is the best, and he brought a really good simple looking race car, and it makes you think back to those old late model days.
Yeah, and I know he's been doing a lot of stuff. I'm not sure if I want to say it's maybe racing engines that that he still does in that number two for Merkel Racing Engines, if I'm not mistaken. So he's done a lot of different racing. I think it was karting at one point. I think now it might be more drag racing. Yeah, there's Merkel Racing Engines on the side. So yeah, so really cool. I'll say it's definitely a fun job. I feel like to have to be building some really fun, powerful engines there. But you can see, though, right now, it looks like everybody's starting to get a little antsy here, Brennan. They want to get to that bottom. And look again at the separation now. It's not a ton, but you can see, though, again, it's a couple car lengths. And you can see the field's really starting to stretch out here. And again, I think that's the guys who have been able to manage their tires well, versus those that maybe have just been cranking a little too much wheel in these things, keeping that right front, getting them a little more and more angry. And, yeah, look at the train we've got now here. It's like we've got pretty much the top 15 all here pretty much now locked in line.
Yeah, to me that tells me we are real close to hitting pit road. Guys are starting to get in the wet or get in their line, and not only that, but it's starting to see like their lines changing. They'll come, as they go to enter turn one, they go way high, and then they'll all dip it down. So that definitely tells you tires is coming into play, and I think we might see some 4-tire stops as Charles Johnson says, "I want to lead this thing."
Oh, you can see right there, Charles tight on the entry there. Had to roll out of it a little bit because he was drifting up towards Gabe. Looks like they will still stay side by side, though. But Gabe, again, just a nose ahead at the line. But Charles, once more, he's going to have the entry here into 3. We'll see if he's able to keep a hook down there. Now he does, able to hold that bottom really nicely. And he's going to have some drafting help. But he's actually going to get a lot of help here down the back because now all the cars behind are running that inside lane. That's not going to be what Gabe's looking for. But again, at the moment, though, that's where the line is going to be. But again, you can see, though, Gabe holding his own as tires wear on. Maybe not 100% draft dependent because look how solid that 88 is, still just barely losing about a half a car there through that entire lap while running that outside line by himself.
Yeah, I think it was like, you were talking about, he was on the inside line for all those laps, just riding and not really pushing the issue, and him and Todd was just riding. So I think may have a little bit more tire than these guys, and he's drifting up as I say that. As soon as I say he might have a little bit of tire, he drifts on us. But what we talked earlier before the race started is with Patrick not being here and being the points leader. Charles Johnson also missed a race, and so he's trying to take advantage of the points leader not being here. And if you look at that way, with Patrick not being here, and if he wins the race, that's 25 points he gains on the leader. At least on Patrick himself just not being here. So another guy trying to take advantage.
Yeah, and he started there. Gabe able to slot to the inside. I think then he was going to try to make a move on Todd Merkel, but before he could get to the outside line, Seth Gruber was there. And again, Seth now rolling solo on the outside lane, but the momentum, again, it's looking strong. You can see right there, loses a tiny bit on entry, but look the momentum that he's building out of turn 2. And again, no draft help, and he's just about to get there. Just can't quite get all the way cleared. Again, he's going to kind of open up the entry and then start to bring it down. Oh, as I said, that caution is out, and it looks like it's going to be in the back half of the field. Looks like Dude Conrad might be a bit involved. The car's looking pretty decent.
Yeah, I seen the 077 when they came off of turn 2. It looked like he was starting to get in the wall out of turn 2 there. Yeah.
This caution, though, a huge break, though, for Nick Wing, Zach Perry, Jason Bogart. They're going to stay on that lead lap. Kevin Hash and Ray Rittenauer, I think at that point they'd already caught back up to the field. So we're going to try to see if we can find where this incident was. And I think it may be involving Dude Conrad. So we're going to start with focus on him. And this, to me, says it immediately. Here's the incident here. You can see Ryan Decker. You see Dude Conrad. Looks like fighting for the same real estate there. And then saying that's going to send the 8 car down to the inside. And we'll see. I think somehow there's a little bit of right front damage that you can see on the 8. But then do we get everybody able to sneak through this? Oh, nope. The answer is no. Oh, man. Dale Rapp in the 52. Big contact with him. And then, yeah, there's the 77 you mentioned, just catching the wall a little bit. And then it looks like for Dale, though, that's going to probably pretty much guarantee needing a fast repair. Because look at that left front tire. I mean, it's pointed to the outside wall. So I think that's fast repair written all over that car. So that's going to put us under our first yellow. We'll jump back live because we've got drivers on pit road. Charles Johnson looks like will win the race off. Tom Dixon, I think, is opting to go one more time around and then hit pit road himself. So, yeah, so we'll keep an eye on to see what the strategy is for Tom. But, yeah, no, it looks like no strategy, though, on the pit stops here, Brennan. 4 tires and fuel under caution for every driver.
Yeah, that one is pretty much an easy set of pit stops there. No interesting happenings as I was ready for it as we were coming right to it. So gonna wrap them back up here and give it another shot. But like you said, big break for those guys in the back, and now they know what they got and know how to get to the front. So this restart should be interesting.
Yeah, exactly right. I believe we're going to get the one to go right here off the bat. And so I'm still trying to play in the background, trying to see if I can get that number 6 machine showing the correct paint scheme. So lights are off. Give me a quick moment here. You're going to see the cars look crazy for a second, and then they'll come right back. As like I said, I'm still trying to get that Bud Steel machine correct.
Yeah, while you're doing that real quick, I just want to give a shout out to 4D Racewear. I got a pair of them gloves. And they're really nice.
Look at that beautiful number 6 car, Brandon.
There you go. Now we're good. Now we're good. That is a good looking race car.
Yeah, so I didn't get it right last week or on Thursday. I want to get it right tonight. So we got you good there, bud. And yeah, no, and big, yeah, I say love Jim Herrick and the guys over at 4D Race where, yeah, the gloves, listen, they got 2 different types of gloves. They got the racing shoes. And I say he's got more coming. He just can't announce officially what it is yet. So I'm looking forward to see what he's got in store. But I can tell you once again, though, Brandon, I'm a little nervous about some of the pit stop cycles here because I am showing Kevin Hashray right now just now leaving pit road as they come through 1 and 2. And same for Tom Dixon just rolling out now. And that car's got a fair bit of right front damage here. So I'm not sure if that was prior to the caution or not, but same thing. He's going to have to try to really pedal around here because we're about to get going. And we've got teammates on the front row now. Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson, and Seth Groover, Todd Merkel, their row 2.
Yeah, to them guys just joining. Remember, fill in. Don't pull the old Kyle Busch. Fill in and get woed up. And Charles Johnson's got a pretty good start here. That's a good shot of them race cars of how much power them guys got in that that rear end just drops down and good push there by the 32 and get going here.
Yeah, and then now look at now when you get up to speed, you get the downforce pushed in. And then the front valence on these cars, let's say no splitters on these, but that front valence sucks right down to the ground, especially through the turns. And I'm saying it's a really good example you see right there, just no gap, completely sealed basically between the 9 there. And that's what these cars, that's how they're built. You had a little bit of wiggle room to be able to be able to go through the straights, but then you want it to be completely sealed in the turns for that max downforce, keep those cars rotating really well. But yeah, so right now we're taking a look at Seth Groover, Mama Groover cheering on Seth tonight. Bummed Patrick couldn't make it, but so she's still got one of her boys here tonight as Dean Wilkinson is all over the back bumper of that 32.
Yeah, definitely tight squeeze there for the 32 and a blessing in disguise. We talked about it earlier when guys are missing. The 32's already got a win this year. His teammate not here tonight, so that's always good when you got a guy in that maybe he's feeling generous. He's already got a win. He's in a good spot. Maybe he'll want to push somebody tonight, and that's a good pusher to have at the super speedways. And so the 32 up there trying to keep the 9 up front.
Yeah, exactly right. And so far, I'm going to say quiet evening, but really good evening right now. Jack Walls in the 83. He's just been kind of cruising, sitting in 5th spot, qualified in 4th, and haven't talked about him, but that's not always a bad thing. And he's right there in the thick of it. But the one I've been watching, though, remember we talked about the 2 teammates being in the very back of the field during that pit stop, or before the pit stops there with the caution. He was working with the 28 and, of course, the 17, his teammate. Well, here you go. Look at Zach Perry already in the top 10 just through that pit stop cycle. So a really good job by Zach to get right back up into the thick of this thing. And then I'm also, again, talking about pit stop strategy here, Brandon. I think we're still good at this point now to go one more stop to the end. Right now we're on lap number 39 coming to 40. They pitted around lap 32, 33. And we talked about that magic window. Again, these guys can go into that mid-30s. So with that 32, 33, if they can get to that, basically if they can get to about 33 to go, they should be good to get to this one and one more stop. But we'll see if we get there because, man, these guys are dicing it up front. These are some big pushes with still 60 laps to go.
Yeah, and speaking of good drivers making their way to the front, shout out to the Cincy sponsored 48. He's been quiet all night, and he's slowly. I've been watching him make his way up there as he's coming along the high side now. It's always going to get interesting and some good racing when the 48 makes his way up there.
Yeah, we'll see who he's able to lock on with and make some stuff happen. You see Dale Rapp, we talked about his damage. He is able to get that fast pair. He's right back into the thick of that one. And then behind him, the 101 of Joshua Highbaugh there. And then I think he is, what paint schemes he rocking time? He's got the Tracker Boats Bass Pro Shop car as well. And then, like I said, we got the correct paint scheme for Bud Steele. He'll be happy to see that one tonight. Didn't have it correct on Thursday. So we're good to go, though, here this evening. And can mention as well, Tom Dixon. He did hit Perot, and I think that may have been for that fast repair, but unfortunately, I believe too fast on entry, and that gave him a stop and hold penalty. And now, again, with how quick these laps are, he is unfortunately now down, showing 4 laps here.
Yeah, I'm watching the 87 and them guys in the back. It looks like on the map that they're getting closer. I know you have a little bit better reading than I do, but are they closing with the 2? I know we've seen 3 cars do it, but can 2 make the gap?
Right now, based on the last lap, no. Last lap they were a couple tenths slower than the leaders. This time around, waiting for the timing to update, and they were about even with the leaders, actually, about identical laps. As Todd Merkel's just going to clear the 55 Dean Wilkinson. But look at the momentum Seth Gruber got. Able to get the push there to Todd to get to the lead. Todd jumps to the bottom, but it's not like Seth completely stalled out. That car just basically kept going as if it had a huge head of steam still. And now this is a great opportunity for now. He's got Gabe Butler right behind him here. Watch for this big push out of turn 2. And we'll hop on the roof of that the 88 to push that 32. You can see right there again, this is the difference here between Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta. You got to roll out. You really can't stay locked onto the bumper of these cars through the turns. There may be occasions where you can do it, but especially at this point in the race, definitely risk not worth the reward. And I can tell you now, though, also with the dicing that we've got going up front, we're talking about the pace between these guys and the 2 behind. It was a 63 up front. It was a 33 with the group behind, so 3 tenths quicker for just that 2-car combo of Ray and Kevin.
Okay, yeah, that gives me hope for those guys. It looked like on the map that they might have been closing just a tad, but it is nice to know that 2 cars can catch back up. And like you were saying, these are some great pushes these guys are giving. And this really style of super speedway racing, it really teaches you a lot because you just can't, like with the cars that they run now and Xfinity, you can really stay sometimes locked onto them for a long time. These, you can't. You got to be strategic with your pushes, and I feel like that brings out the best in our drivers when they just can't just run into the guy and just keep pushing him through. You got to really pick and choose your battles, and when you add tire wear into it, it makes it even that much better.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And you can see Duke Conrad now, again, he was in that earlier incident as well, and now he's able to pull back up. He's catching his teammate in that 88, so we'll probably have a 3-car combo. But look at Jack Walls. I think he saw the momentum coming, and he said, you know what, I'm ready to jump up top here, maybe try to pull a bit further forward. And as soon as I say that, he drops right back down to the inside line, maybe just trying to say, I'm kind of curious to say, I wouldn't say trying to give a little bit of draft to the 8, but actually what I think he's doing is what we talked about. He's keeping that turn opened up, letting it drift out when he's got a clear exit. That way, again, he's not cranking that wheel so that car won't get as tight. But right now you can see pretty much everybody's just hugging that inside line. The only guys that I really see drifting out are further in the back where there's really no pressure behind them. Jack's one of the few they can see. He's really kind of coming into the turns and then opens it up on the exit. So you'll see here again, he drifts up there maybe about a car length wider. And again, I think he's doing that because he sees right there that 8 car of Dude Conrad having the momentum. And so now in this situation, obviously can't really wash it out there unless he completely clears the 8. And, ooh, see Eric Laurie there just scrubbing the wall there out of turn number 2. And he's going to be able to recover from that, though. Looks like he's good to go. You see everybody else reacting, moving down the lane, letting him get settled back in. Good heads up by all those guys, and won't cost Eric the draft, importantly. So now he can just stay tagged onto those guys. And Fender's looking pretty good for Eric Laurie, so I think no harm, no foul for that 071.
And another great thing with that green car and the green walls, you're never even going to see the marks. So hop back on the gas, and the 071 will be right back up there. But I would like to see these guys get a little bit more racy, because I want to me, I haven't seen a dominant line as we go 3 wide. Oof.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of a left rear, right front contact. And once again, though, able to recover quickly and able to keep it pointing in the right direction. I think it's just going to be the 2, the 55, and the 9 slightly involved. Todd's car, honestly, you can see a little bit of damage there on the driver's side door, a little bit in the right front fender as well. But again, I think that's very repairable. We'll jump to Dean Wilkinson's car. You can see he and Charles Johnson both pretty decent damage to the same thing, to the front fenders, as the field's catching the pace car now. And I'm showing these guys heading straight to pit road. Wow. Pit road already open, so field's having to really hustle to catch up. This is a really good opportunity for Gabe here and Seth. They've got nothing in front or behind them there. They had a couple seconds, if not more. And so that's going to make it tough for these guys here, Brandon. They're going to have to really hustle on the pit road. You can see they're treating it almost like a green flag pit stop, really charging in, trying to get the most they can to be able to make sure, again, that they stay on the lead lap. So, and also you see Tom Dixon. He's going to come on by here, get one of those laps back, which I believe will put him from 4 to 3 down. So that'll at least be an opportunity for him to, again, try to recover a little bit. And again, with that margin, this is a great opportunity for these two right there. They didn't even have to worry about tire strategy here, Brian. They could just take 4 regardless, because they had that extra time to play with on the pit entry. And there were a couple gamblers, though. I see a couple 2-tire stops in here. The 101 there and the 52, 2 tires for them. But Steele took 4. So I think Joshua Highbaugh and Dale Rapp are going to take some 2-tire gambles here on this pit stop. With 49 to go, which means now, zero question, this is a one-stop race here to the finish.
Yeah, them 2 tires, unless you're committed to taking 4 on the next one and only having the 2 cautions here by midway, that makes me nervous. And what makes me nervous about it is when they were leaving pit road, Gabe, when we were, because it was focused on his car, him being the first pit box, when he left pit road, he didn't spin his tires. A lot of guys spin them trying to hurry up and get out. He dropped it, spun, and just slowly peeled away, as you've seen the 32 got out front of him with ease. So it definitely tells me tires are a factor here.
I'm also noticing a couple guys coming back in to top off. Ryan Decker was one of those in the 48. And then Ray Rittenauer, Kevin Hash, and Dude Conrad all coming back in as well. So we are 1 to green here. So we'll keep an eye on what maybe the strategy there. Maybe, again, just maybe wanting to go a little longer. The one thing I can think of, though, Brandon, is if maybe the issue is just that the car is getting tight, a pretty common thing that I've seen drivers do for a tight race car is they do just take right side tires, because in general, right side tires like to free up that race car. So that might be what we're seeing is from Josh and Dale thinking, you know what, the 4 tires, we were still tight. Let's try 2 tires, see if this frees this thing up here, and at least gives us an opportunity to kind of be ready for that final stop, because maybe that's the magic trick, is just taking the 2 instead of the 4. But yeah, like you said, though, that final stop, I don't think you'd be waiting on tires if you do 4 during green. So I think it's probably, if it's a green flag stop, probably 2, if not fuel only.
Yeah, before we had that caution, I was stating, man, I hope these guys amp it up a little bit because I haven't seen a dominant lane yet. We haven't seen one be more, you want to be here or you want to be here. So we're halfway down, 48 to go, and the 32 and 88 is going to lead us here.
Yeah, I've been looking at the pit stops as well. The drivers opting to get damage repaired, including Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson, and Todd Merkel. So saving that fast repair should they need it. As we are back to green here, 46 to go. They're at the line. Sorry, 47 to go at the line. As again, 32 and the 88 stay side by side here entering turn one. And then you got a couple teammates there lined up right behind that 32, Jack Walls and Bud Steele.
Yeah, those guys that started in the back, the three in the back, as we see here with Nick Wing, the 28, we see him working there on the high side. He slowly making his way back to the front too. So these guys have made up from the unfortunate start and getting their way back up.
Yep, and I saw a little cheer on from Ramrod rooting for that 17 and the 76. And where are they? Right there together, as well as with Nick Wing. I believe all those three drivers working together as well. So that's a good little trio to have lined up here now. Line astern, if they're ready to make some moves here, maybe waiting for that opening lane up top to kind of have the three of them run together. But I think right now just kind of managing their stuff and waiting to make that move at the right time. So we'll keep an eye on them. You can see a little further back, or further forward, sorry, Gabe's still trying to run that outside line. He's got some help a little bit right now, not quite close enough for a big push, and that's Joshua Highbaugh in that number 101 machine. So we'll keep an eye on him as the run goes on. Eric Laurie, same thing, trying to get up there. But right now, just numbers aren't there. Frank Ranger peeking into the mix as well in the 17. So, yeah, right now, fairly spread out here. We still have the field to Dean Wilkinson. These guys are all still in this main pack. And then once again, though, Ray Rayner, Kevin Hash, and now add Dude Conrad to that mix. Just again, rolling about 5-6 seconds back. Just again, maybe just waiting, kind of thinking that, hey, there might be a big one, so let's hold off on this one. So what I do want to do as well here, Brandon, let's take a look at some of the damage of these guys involved there. I was looking at Todd Merkel. You can still see a little bit on that driver's side door. Fenders look pretty good on his car. I was noticing Dean Wilkinson, though, that front end still a little center punched in that number 55. And I think that might be affecting his top end. But I'm also noticing that the car in front, Tom Dixon, still has a little bit of right front fender damage as well, probably also affecting his car. We jump forward to Charles Johnson, looking clean and shiny. So I think that car able to get fully repaired. So I think Charles is back into the mix there in that number 9.
Man, Gabe is still hanging up out there by himself on that outside. If he can just get a little bit of help, and I think he's coming. I seen the 071 as there he is on the outside. He's making his way to him, and Gabe can't wait for him to get there quick enough to help him. I think for him to be able to hang on to that outside, I really hope he's not eating up, too much of the tire early off in this run. Is we see the 071, he's gaining quick, and you see the 32. He's seen heard the 071 was coming, and all right, let's get up here front because we know the run's going to be coming hard and quick now.
Yeah, man, and that might be it too. It's maybe even an opportunity where we're set this thing. You know what? If I can get in front of Gabe, get that push, maybe we both clear the inside lane. As I say that, 3 wide, a little bit of a bobble. Everybody's caught it. Very, very close there between Frank Ranger there, Charles Johnson, as well as the 52 Dale Rapp. So close call. Everybody's able to get through unscathed. Peeking over there, we got Rondal popping in there, rooting on Ryan Decker. Right now, Ryan right there is in a Sensi car just rolling. I think Ryan's playing it safe here again. He had that little bit of a contact earlier with the 8 car. I think he's just trying to regroup and kind of roll back into it a little bit easier, as you see a little bit of a momentum loss there for the 17 of Frank Ranger. So he's going to have to try to, same thing, kind of regroup, get the draft back going, and then stay after it. But I think right now you see Dean Wilkinson, he's caught back up to the back of this group. However, the 77 is not really able to hang very well, as is the 411 of Tom Dixon. So I think those guys still hurting, and it looks like probably cost them the draft at this point. So we'll jump back up front. And once Gabe cannot quite clear Jack Walls. We can see Seth once more giving some drafts on the outside line, but look at that second lane, though. The numbers are building, You got Eric Laurie, like you mentioned, and now Charles Johnson. He wants to get right back to the front of this pack.
Yeah, Gaio, you think the 32's done this a couple times? I mean, he's just controlling the line. The run comes from the top, he goes up, just hits it perfect, and then when it's not, he runs the bottom. These guys, I don't think get enough credit for how good they are, and to put on this, that was a heck of a move there by the green and white car. I believe again of Charles Johnson. I believe he wants to get back to the front. He is making moves.
Yeah, no, he's definitely making some moves in that 9. Like I said, he was running the top, and I think maybe saw the momentum kind of slow a little bit. Said, yep, I'm going to head straight back to the bottom. And right now, like I said, holding steady just outside the top 5 for the moment. But then also, we got to talk about the 2 tire strategies. Joshua Highball, again, he's in 5th, still running solid. It looks like that car's holding the bottom nice and calm, no dramas there. Looking for the other 2 tire taker, that was Dale Rapp. A little further back, just in the 10th position, but again, car looks comfortable. I don't see any too much drama from him. Same thing, not washing up. But like you said, though, Charles is antsy. He wants to get in front of these guys. You can see him right there. He was peeking to the inside of Joshua Highball. Just wasn't enough space to make it happen there. So we'll see if he regroups and maybe tries the outside lane again. But now Seth can't run both lanes here, Brennan. Gabe's got to his outside once Eric got to him.
Yeah, and we see here, ooh, good move there by the 2-1. That's gonna hurt that outside lane again. But what I think, as these guys are running the 071, and he's staying close enough to keep Gabe there, but he's not really pushing the issue or getting onto his bumper. As you see right there, they're not really pushing it. So I think when that outside line, when they have to push, I think it's gonna be competitive. So that's gonna be good for the end of the race.
Saw right there, Anthony Lane in that Taco Bell car just caught the outside wall a little bit out of 2, but again, though, able to keep it, pull it back off the wall, grab back onto the draft, so should be good. So that's going to keep 17 cars in this main pack, and then again, dropping a little further back, you've got the trio of Ray Rittenauer, Kevin Hash, and now add Dude Conrad to the mix. Again, right now, the numbers, let's say the gains haven't been probably what they're hoping for, unless, again, maybe strategy, or they are really waiting, expecting again maybe another yellow, or again the potential of the big one to avoid the drama. But we talked about the potential of the 88 and the 32 getting lined up on the front 2 spots. They've finally got it done now. The 88-32 lined up lockstep with one another. Eric Laurie able to get to the inside lane as well. So now we've got, again, starting to get that single file train look again here.
Yeah, I also noticed with only 33 to go, that was right in the window of how far you go. I could see the 17 brought his car to pit road and got his last pit stop of the day out of the way. So hopefully he can hop up here and catch the back of this pack.
Yeah, you can see, I think, also again, playing it very conservative there. Didn't want to roll, try to merge up in front of the field there. So Frank there again, I think that one may have been a damage repair pit stop. That car's still not looking super comfortable for him. I'm trying to look at the tire there, if it looked like it was almost a little bit skewed, but yeah, like I said, though, was able to make that last pit stop for him. So at the moment, I believe that puts him 1 down. No, I'm sorry, actually. So he's had some issues. He's 4 down now. And yeah, looking at the timing scoring, he actually was in pit road for about 1 minute and 15 seconds. So not what he was looking for. Look at the crossover move by the 32 there, trying to get to the inside of Gabe. Couldn't quite do. You saw Jack there try to react as well. Couldn't quite do anything there either. All that line checked up the inside a little bit. Charles Johnson saw that and he said, yep, I'm going to go for this. Let me grab a couple, maybe see if I can get some freebies here. But again, those needing to find some help to try to make that outside lane work. But right now, still again rolling solo. But we saw it work really well for Gabe earlier.
Yeah, guy out now with coming to 30 to go here, you can make it to the end from here on out. Now, do you stay out and maybe think there's going to be a caution, or as clean as we've been running and as we start to get single file, do you come down and you knock it out immediately? Maybe those guys that, took the 4 tires that, they can just come in and swap here real quick, or do you ride this out the full way?
I think I write it out. I get too nervous trying to short pit at a track like this, where again you will go a lap down, because then you're just at the mercy of everybody else having a clean run between the pit cycles. And The only way maybe would be if you're maybe in the further back and you can't really make any charge to maybe go a couple laps early. But yeah, I don't think you go as soon as you're in the window like we are, like you said, right now. The other benefit too is if you are mid pack here, Brandon, you're saving a ton of fuel right now with everybody now running this inside lane. So this is a great opportunity as well. Save a ton of fuel now, take a little less fuel during that final pit stop, maybe even a fuel only stop instead of right side tires, and again just be able to jump the cycle and jump ahead of some of these guys. So we'll see if that strategy comes into play or not. You see Todd Merkel, he's decided, you know what, I gotta try to get some more spots as well, so he's gonna run the outside in that too. He's got right behind him Anthony Lane. And you can see again, I'm looking a little further back one more time. We talk about these guys every time they do it. And they're starting to creep further in again, about 0.4 of a second quicker that last lap. Were the 03, the 87, the 8, as well as now add Frank Ranger Jr. to that group as well. So again, right now, lap times are looking stout from those guys. Then I think they'll get there before we get to that pit stop cycle. If anybody short pits, maybe it's those three. Maybe they short pit once they catch the field, say, all right, let's jump in, let's see if we can get in, get out together, and then maybe we try to set sail that way, because like we said, they're having the pace now. They just looks like they kind of wait for those tires to start burn off on the main pack.
Yeah, and I think that's the one good thing a lot of guys have had to deal with this year is dropping back and having that 3 car. So I think that also gives you the confidence that you can pit with just your team only, right? You don't have to have a bunch of guys around you, more similar to Talladega or the bigger tracks where you prefer to have the bigger group compared to the smaller group. So I think we're gonna have some interesting strategies here.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun to see. Again, they pitted at lap 51 or so, which again, based on that 35 or so lap window, should get them to about lap 85. So based on that, that'd be about that 15 to go mark. So they can go technically probably about another 10 laps or so should they choose. I think, again, I saw the Anthony Lane maybe just catching the wall a little bit out of turn or through turn 1 and 2. But again, looks like he's able to hang on to it and stay regrouped. So the other thing is, now you got some tough decisions if you've maybe got a slightly damaged car here as well, Brennan. Do you still save that fast repair knowing that, hey, yes, I have a little bit of damage and maybe I can't pull up as well as I want to? Or do you say, I got to take it now, that way I can still have a chance to win this race if we go green? Is right there. You see the 101 catches the outside wall, able to pull off. We're going to go 3 wide for a moment. And yeah, there's the reaction there as well. You can see all these guys trying to give each other space there. And that forced Gary Huffines there to get to the apron, able to merge back up. But tires are starting to wear. I think somebody's going to probably have to blink first, maybe not by strategy, but just by outright just wear of these tires.
Yeah, I think they're fading fast, and that's a very, very kudos to the 081 and not running him over and checking up, and instead of making a wreck, and swerving down, he kept himself up against the wall. And so respect to the drivers, that don't just react. He thought first and then reacted. So we're still green, and those tires are definitely going to pay you off when you get them.
Yep, I'm saying we're 22 to go here at the line. So we're getting very close to that window, and I do want to see the short pit strategy. And to me, I think the strategy's got to be these three. If I'm Ray, if I'm Kevin, and dude, once I get to the back of these guys, I jump in. I say, you know what? I don't want to risk getting held up by anybody. I'm going to try to jump in pit road and see if I can maybe do that undercut. And as I say that, we do finally have our first takers, and that is going to be the 9 of Charles Johnson, 55 of Dean Wilkinson. They said, let's take the gamble here, coming to 21 to go. They're going to make their final scheduled stop. And so now, again, it's 2 of them. We'll see. Do we see any response from our front runners here?
I think that it looks like they're going to hang out here for a couple more laps. And is the 19's coming in hot? Remember, you got to keep all 4 tires under that line, and he got it woed up in time. Gary came last second, said, I'm coming now, and I was very, very shocked he got that checked up.
Yeah, so I see right now Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson now rolling out of pit road. So again, you can see it's pretty much a guaranteed 1 lap that you're going to lose there on track. So they got to let this thing cycle through. Here comes Eric Laurie. He's going to bring Gabe Butler along with him ahead. You see Nick Wing, he's going to jump in as well. And like I said, now these guys got to try to keep this thing on the flat. Can't let it drift up too high. And so far looking good. Zach Perry's in as well. So we're going to have about 4 cars coming in together. But again, look at the gap, though, that Gabe had. So now he's going to have to hope that these guys get right onto his draft. But now I'm jumping forward here. Here these guys go. They've caught the pack there. You saw Kevin Hash there just catching the wall there, because this is the first time they've had a lot of dirty air. And here comes Dude Conrad. He's going to jump in now in the 8 car. These guys continuing to stay out and looking a little further forward. Any takers on pit road? Yep, here comes Seth Groover coming in here.
Yeah, some of these guys coming solo. Hopefully that in my head, if I come solo, I think that automatically means I take right side tires. You got to be able to make up that gap and not lose the pack.
Here comes Jack Walls. He's going to come in. Bud Steele's coming in. Here comes the 48 Ryan Decker. So these are the Roswell teammates coming in all together. And again, you can see it's starting to hustle it in there. Ryan's going to go a little wide. It looks like he's staying inside the line, though. But that was close for the 48 machine. But again, he's trying to get everything he can on the entry. So that's going to leave just a few more, less than 10, I believe, to finish pitting. That's going to be Jacob Lee, Dale Rapp, Todd Merkel, and then Joshua Hyba, Anthony Lane. I believe are going to be the last ones to hit pit road here. Also got to mention Jason Bogart, Kevin Hash, Ray Rittenauer, all on pit road as well. So now it's just, again, we always talk about the undercut, the overcuts, what's better to pit early, pit late. Right now, these guys are banking on the idea of that this going long, that maybe someone will make a mistake and they can trap some guys a lap down. What we need to wait for is to see an apples to apples lap times on clean tires versus old tires. And I can tell you, Jacob Lee, he ran a 31.85, Brandon, last lap. Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson were in the 30-second bracket. So a lot of time being gained by those two doing that short pit strategy. And then look at Gabe Butler. He's able to cycle up just in front of them. Look at Nick Wing catch the wall out of 2. He's okay, though. As right now, this is the lead pack here for those that have made their final green flag pit stop.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's a good bunch there, too. They're going to, somebody was coming into pit road hot. Looked like
that was
maybe.
I think that was Jacob Lee getting everything he could.
Yeah, the thing, these guys, if you're pitting right now, you got to be on top of it, because the 4 that's out front right now, they're going to stay nose to tail, and they are going to start clicking off some very fast laps, because we only got 15 to go, and they know if they can get a little breakaway, it's better for the 5 drivers.
So right now that leaves us, like you said, about 5 drivers. We got 5 drivers on the lead lap as we speak. Dale Rapp still continues to take laps here. He's going to continue to lead this way. But again, though, he is losing about a second and a half a lap right now. So he's going on the caution gamble there. As you see, there's Jacob Lee leaving pit road. Gabe already clear of him. And he's going to steal some draft here off of that 17 of Frank Ranger. And once again, I mean, look at the pace. I say you got that Guinness car leading a train of green. You've got the 9, the 55, the 411, the 071. So right now, Gabe looking really good. I mean, look at that. He's been actually gapping these guys in that number 88. Again, not out of draft range. They're going to pull back up on him, but Gabe has done something here to really keep that car wound up, and that car is looking stout here. But again, still going to be a lot of time to go. Dale Rapp, Joshua Hyba, Anthony Lane, all on pit road. Todd Merkel, he is stretching this all he can. Now he's in, coming to 12 to go. That's going to leave Robert Amaral as our last drivers yet to pit.
Yeah, I think that last pit stop, Gabe got him a fresh new Guinness, and he's ready to get back going, because he, like you said, he has gained a very impressive lead, and those guys behind him are in a pack. So great driving by the 88, and with the 52 staying out there, you already committed that long. I was, you're committed. Stick with it and hope for the best, and you never know what can happen.
Yep, exactly right. I mean, again, there's still 12 to go here. It'll be 11 at the line. Right now, our leader still continues to be Robert Amaral. This guy has been able to just sip fuel. Now he's going to jump down here, and I'm wondering, did he run it too far? Because he's backed it down pretty early. I also saw a little puff of flame out that 77, so I'm wondering if maybe that car maybe run it a little bit too far potentially. So we'll keep an eye on that. But again, looking at lap times, I'm looking at a fast group. It's these guys right here, Ray Rittenauer, Kevin Hash. Last time by, they were over a second quicker than the leaders. Jacob Lee was even 0.3 faster than them. So we've got battles within battles right now. And then look at the 8. Dude, Conrad, he's going to slide right in front of Bud Steele, trying to jump around Frank Ranger. These guys, I say it's a battle within a battle right now because, again, Gabe, he's got company once more here. But that second pack was being led by now Ray and Kevin. Don't count them out. They're only 2 seconds back of this front pack, and they are closing. Oh, Nick Ween there cut the wall off with 2. Gathers it back up. But, yeah, we're getting spicy now.
Yeah, Gael, this is my favorite time of the race. When the pushes start to get harder and guys know, hey, it's time to go, and you see guys start throwing haymakers to get their way up front, and this is when, in my eyes, some of the best moves come right now. Is they got to do something. Oh, we got the 32 in the wall.
Oh, again, great reactions from the 3 of them there. And yeah, so I was going to mention is we got 5th all the way back to 14th here, all in this main pack. There's a little separation going on now. You see Robert Amaral there. He's still trying to build speed back up, so these guys are going to have to try to find a way to get around him cleanly. As again, last time by we were 10 to go, now we're at 9 to go. So now Gabe Butler, he's going to be watching that mirror because, again, he's got pretty much all green behind him. He's got 3 TW teammates locked in. He's got Eric Laurie there, but Eric's got some help that he's going to have to find a way to get there. And here comes Ray Rittenauer, Ray Rittenauer, Kevin Hash. Eric Laurie sees that and says, don't mind if I do. Let's jump up top here. I want to try to see if I can charge back up here. So he's going to try to get that teammate in the 88 here as we got now 8 to go.
Yeah, if you don't think this race means anything, the 88 is... Oh, it's going to get tight here. Yeah, very, very tight. The 88 is sitting 22nd in points, and the 9 is sitting 24th in points. So both of these guys desperately need to win as we're at the halfway point in this season.
And look at the 21, Jacob Lee. He's joined this party as well. And, man, just the steam that these guys had. Jacob Lee, he's going to get back to the inside line as soon as he had the opening. He said, yep, I'm going to slot in here. But, again, we've seen the 87, the 03. They've been waiting. They said, all right, it's time to go. Let's jump after this thing. And they have gotten to the 071, gotten to the 88. But right now they're a little bit static right now. They haven't been able to make that last little charge here. But I'm also looking a little further back. We got a few more creeping into the mix here. Dude, Conrad's right there. Bud Steele, Ryan Decker, and Jason Bogart. All of these guys coming up to catch this field. Unfortunately, Nick Wing, Seth Groover, they have actually fallen out of this pack. They've both lost over 5 seconds now to that pack. So right now, realistically, we've got, I think, from the top 12, have a chance to win this race.
Yeah, most definitely. And the 32 and the 28, they're not out of it because things up here are ramping up. The guys, though it's starting to push as we see here, you got to really be tight on the wheel here and not overcorrect. And when you start pushing it harder and harder and overcorrecting, that's when mistakes can happen. And we got 5 to go, Gaio.
Yeah, like I said, laps click by quickly. Look at Jacob Lee. He is trying to stay as tight to Eric Laurie as he can because if he can push Eric clear, maybe try to clear himself, he could lead that outside line, try to jump in front of Ray Rittenauer, Kevin Hash, but right now just has not been able to do so. Look at Jack Walls. He's popped in there. He's had a huge head of steam. He's now right on the rear bumper there of the 21. And then Dean Wilkinson, or sorry, that's Charles Johnson, I apologize. He's trying to try to charge himself back up there, but the short pit seems like it's actually hurt the 9 and the 55. Now it was a really big short turn gain, but it seems like now it's kind of started to go the wrong way for those 2 guys. As you see Jason Bogart, he's trying to work his way forward there. There's Bud Steele. There's the 8 of Dude Conrad we just talked about. And then Ryan Decker trying to work his way now further forward too. But we're going to go back up front because these guys are starting to really move. Look at the 71. He's jumped to the top side. Jacob Lee took advantage of it. He jumped straight to the inside line as we are down to 3 to go here, Brandon.
3 to go, Gael, and I see 3 wide coming soon. These guys are making moves. Ooh, it's been tight. These guys have kept it clean. Oh, the 80.
Oh, more contact.
We're going to get a clock.
Oh, it's going to be a huge one here in the back. Almost identical to what we saw on Thursday night with coming to 2 to go, I believe. Caution comes out. And I think it was just like you said, everybody is getting aggressive, jockeying for those positions. And unfortunately, just a few guys there just weren't quite able to get lined up. And we saw kind of that accordion effect as well. You can see the 03 with some damage on the nose. Let's go back again. I mean, I don't really think this is one of those ones you can really place blame per se. It's just everybody's going for everything here. We'll jump up front because this is where it all really was kicking off here. So watch the 87 Ray Rittenauer here. He's got right behind him Jack Walls. Jack sees the opening. He's like, yep, there's an opening. I'm going to take it. Ray at the same time was working his way down, and they meet in the middle. I mean, that's one of those things. I think drivers going for the same real estate there, and then just the reaction there. I mean, there's really, again, we're super slow mo. There's really nothing for Kevin Hash to do there, and then unfortunately, Jack's gonna be right in front of the field here. You see the 6, the 8 get a piece, the 9 as well. I'm watching the 17, Jason Bogart, and look at Ryan Decker. I think they both may squeak by this one. We'll continue to watch here as we look down the field there. I'm watching Dean Wilkinson as well. And yeah, I think these guys just squeaked by there. So this could be a great opportunity for those guys. So we'll jump back live here. Looking at drivers here, not a lot of pit stops right now. It looks like the top 12 stay out. Bud Steele, of course, with his damage, there's fast repair done to him. He is going to start rolling out. Dean Wilkinson on his way out. Nick Wing on pit road for his damage as well. So drivers with some damage, they're hopping in, getting repairs. I think, yeah, Bud Steele. I like this from Bud Steele here. You're already going to be falling back. Let's take the 4 tires as well because, again, there's 2 attempts. So this will be attempt number 1 here, Brandon. So if we get that second attempt, maybe he can gain a few spots. If there's an incident, he can avoid it. That could play a big, big role for him as well. So now it's going to be finding your dancing partners. I see Gabe on the inside. He's going to have Eric Laurie right behind him. Outside is going to be Jacob Lee. He's got Ray Rittenauer behind him. We've seen how good Ray is. And then you got Kevin Hash will be on the inside, but a little bit of nose damage. Dude Conrad, he's going to stay out. We saw him maybe have a slight involvement. And then we talked about those 2 getting through, Jason Bogart as well as Ryan Decker. I see it, Charles Johnson. He's going to roll down to pit road. I think he realized that's too much damage to try to stay out. Expect to see a fast repair on that 9. So you talk about getting busy here, Brandon. It's time.
Yeah, like the 87 and the 03. What they lost the field like by 5 seconds every restart, and we're coming down here to get a green white checkered, and these guys are 4th and 5th. It's sticking with it, and strategy pays off. Everybody has their own strategy, and it shows. You stick to your strategy and you make it work, and you'll find yourself in the right spot at the right time. So I think Gabe's got the preferred lane here. You know, the top so far. We haven't, seen it really be dominant. And then not only that, he's got his teammate behind him. So Jacob Lee in the 87 is really going to have to nail this restart.
Yeah, no, exactly right. So we have 19 drivers on the lead lap. Jack Walls is 1 lap down in the 83. And I believe the only car 1 lap down. So again, if there's to be another incident before we get that white flag, as long as he's not involved, he'd be able to get his lap back and have a chance on that final restart. So again, the way it works is attempt number 1. As long as they get to the white, at that point, race is official. If a caution comes out before then, they'll rack them up and do it that one more time. However, on the second attempt, if there's an incident before that white flag comes out, field's frozen at the time of yellow, and that will be the finishing order. So, yeah, like you said, Brandon, Gabe's got a teammate behind him. We know that Jacob's got a really good pusher behind him, but now it's all about, again, who's got what tires left. I mean, they got also the same thing. They got to be careful. Can't spin the tires on this restart. So we'll see what we got here as we're going to start attempt number 1.
Yeah, gonna get a nice good start here. You see Gabe, no spin of the tires. Neither did Jacob Lee. I think both good starts for both of them. Just a little bit better pull there by the 88. As you see Jacob Lee make a big move to get down.
I think that's a really good call there by Jacob. Knowing there's not the momentum on the outside, let's drop back down, see if I can build some charge up, and then find a way to make a move. But again, he's got to time this though, because if he jumps too soon, he's just going to have that 03 try to fill that inside lane. So Jacob's going to try to squeeze a little bit of contact with Eric Laurie. And we're going to have a second attempt as we've got another huge one here in front of the field. Jacob Lee there, the 2, the 8, all caught up in that one. And so that's what we just talked about. There's going to be a second attempt here, and this will be the final attempt of a green-white checkered. And now, again, got to make sure these guys have enough fuel to make it this second one around. So once again, we'll go back. Let's take another look. And I think it's just drivers going for that same real estate here.
Yeah, and come back to that last caution. Same as that. When you wash up a little bit, I mean, as you see, Gabe's up here too. As he's looking through, he can see Gabe up here already midway up too. So he's probably thinking Eric's gonna stay mid track, and he goes for that spot. And
I say we'll go a
Juan,
little further back. Let's
yeah,
hop on the roof here of Jacoby so we can see what he is seeing, and it's gonna be exactly what you said. Like you see the room, you see the room. I mean, there's a car with there, so he's like, all right, let me slot on in here. You can see he's still above that line, and then right there you can see the door just starts to close, and then right here is the contact on the entry, and so I mean, it's coming to the white. It's a green white checkered attempt. I mean, I think at this point it's just these guys are. He's going for the win. He thinks, okay, if I can grab Eric Laurie, that's gonna be my best chance to try to win this race. And watch the reaction behind. Look at Ray Rittenauer just sneaking by on the outside there. Ryan Decker as well on the inside, the 03 as well of Kevin Hash. And unfortunately, some of these other guys not so lucky, like the 8 and the 2 getting caught up in it. So yeah, so unfortunately that's gonna get those guys caught up. But again, look how quick too, able to grab a gear. Oh, Jack Walls, just saw that one in the background. Let's go back here on this because there was some accordion issues a little further back here. So we'll focus on Jack, and we'll back it down here. And I say we talked about if Jack could get through this unscathed, he'd be able to get that lap back. And I have a bad feeling based on what I saw from that car, he's gonna get woed up. But I have a feeling something behind is not. So we'll watch this 83 here. And this is always a tough one to take. And yeah, here you go. Look in the background. There's 77. A lot of smoke and just lifts Jack up and over. And unfortunately, wow, really lifts him up and over there. Big shot. And that kind of shows you right there too, Brandon. These cars, the nose and the bumper, they don't line up very well. So you gotta make sure that you get lined up when you bump them. You can't just slam them because that's what it does. But we're 1 to green here, Brandon. Attempt number 2, final attempt. We'll see what they've got in store for us. Right now, you've got the 88 on the inside, 03 outside, 87 inside, and the 48 on the outside. We'll see what lane can get the launch and get the push here on this final lap. And again, if we get a quick yellow here, it's all going to be about where they are in position with one another. So you got to get everything you can as quick as you can here.
yeah. As we talked about earlier, he's quietly made his way up to the front, the 48. So the 03 is definitely going to have a good push behind him. The 2 scares me a little bit. Looks like I don't know anybody that might not have a little bit of damage at this point, to be honest. So maybe it's not as bad as it seems. It's dude is
Dude's had a better time in that 8 car, but I think that car's had it with Scott. But the thing is, again, if there's a quick restart yellow, it's not enough time to lose that momentum. So this could actually be one of those things where it could gain you a ton of spots in the overall championship battle. So we'll have to wait and see. Saw a little bit of damage for the 17 of Jason Bogart as well. So yeah, so I mean, there's again, we'll see what these guys have. A little nervous, like you said, in those couple rows back with the nose damage that we see, but up front though, these guys all are gonna go everything they can here. Again, Gabe's now got to try to work this restart. Ray behind him. Watch Kevin Hash with Ryan Decker, and Gabe's gonna get going here. Another really good start for that 88, like almost like he was in another gear there, as he's gonna get a nice clean launch here. And now he's got to watch for that big momentum shift, though, because maybe it's a too big of a lead here, Brandon.
Yeah, not only that, but what's the 87 going to do here? It's going to be interesting to see if the 87 hops up in front of the 03. They work together all night and maybe get on by Gabe, but he's sticking on the back of his.
Trouble in the back there.
Ooh, that just took a massive hit to the inside wall.
And caution is out. That will freeze the field, and I think that is going to be where this race finishes here tonight. So we'll wait and get the official, but I believe right there they'll be taking the white flag, and then that's where this thing will end here. And yeah, I see the white popping up. So, and it looks like it might be Jason Bogart grabbing that 3rd place here. So let's go back, because once again, it was a little further back here, and I think it's one of those things where everybody's just trying to get everything they could. And I saw Seth get a big piece of this one in the 32 in front. You can see the big stack up. Dude Conrad, just so much damage. So I'll watch him in the 32, and let's see. I think just the same thing, just guys going for the same real estate there once more. And then believe, I don't even know if the caution came out for him or not. I think actually it probably was, but now we'll go back again here as I want to see at the time of this yellow, where was Jason Bogart here in relation? Because you can see right there, he's on the inside and is probably pretty close to here is when this yellow starts to fly. And so I think Jason's going to grab this just by about a nose here. And look how close he was to Ray Rittenauer as well there on the entry. So yeah, so I think that's how it's going to wind up here. Everybody's still trying to catch back up to the start finish line here. But yeah, so we'll jump back live here though, as we're going to focus on that 88. And say we'll get the official. Let's see if the official results have shown up, because that'll give us the answer here. And yep, there you go. It is going to be Gabe Butler over Ray Rittenauer, Jason Bogart there in third, then Kevin Hash, Ryan Decker rounding out that top five. And we were nervous about Todd Merkel, but he was able to hang on to that car, grab sixth. Josh Heibaugh, Dean Wilkinson, Dale Rapp, and Charles Johnson rounding out our top 10. And then you've got Eric Laurie, Robert Amaral, Bud Steele, Nick Wing, and Anthony Lane, our lead lap finishers. And then drivers a lap or more down there. Again, I think probably from some of the incident involvement, including Gary Huffines there, Jacob Lee Duke Connor. We saw his damage at the end, as well as Zach Perry, Seth Groover, that last lap incident, unfortunately. And then Frank Ranger Jr., Jack Walls, Tom Dixon, and Mike Allen.
Yeah, pretty good race for the most part, and sometimes it's just best to be at the right spot at the right time. And with that being said, Gaia, what do you say we bring our third place finisher into the booth?
Yep, I think that is a good idea. See if they've found their way in over here. And you've already found them because you are on top of things. So let's jump back, because we got to show off this paint scheme for our third place finisher. Give him a little bit of love here. That is going to be this man here, Jason Bogart. Jason, you had some love in the YouTube chat. We saw, you guys started from the pits there, had to work your way forward and able to kind of minimize that damage loss working with your team. And then there's a pit stop where just kind of at one point we saw Zach pop up out of nowhere after that pit stop, jumped up front, and then you were able to kind of same thing, climb your way through the field. And then one of those situations where there's some incidents ahead, you did some really good avoiding and put yourself in a good spot, even with maybe a little crinkle in that right front. Take us through the night and the strategies.
Yeah, I knew I had a little bit of damage from that wreck with Jacob, and I'm not sure who all was involved, but I know I clipped Jacob a little bit and had a little bit of right front, but seemed to be all right. And I didn't know until that last restart that we were supposed to be in first gear, and I was able to hold on. Like I didn't get left in the dust once I started off in first, so that wasn't too bad. Other than that, it was all about tires, whether to take 2 or 4. It was a good one.
Yeah, with tires coming into play, and how big of a deal was it with the the pit entrance, and then with that your run through your last pit stop where under green, where you guys was it more I'm gonna take 4 no matter what, or if I'm coming in under green I'm gonna take 2?
So under caution we were taking 4, but on that lap that I forget when it was. Last time I went in, I took 2. So I think that was that last green flag stop. It gave us a little bit more turn into the corner. You're able to stay, because if you're on 4 fresh or 4 worn tires, you got to let out a little bit into the entry. But with 2, if you angle it right, you can kind of stay in it.
Yeah, and that's something I was talking to Brandon about, was that strategy of 2 versus 4, where typically in iRacing, the 2 tires on the right side seems to really free up the car a little bit. And it definitely seemed like that, like I said, that may have been the magic kind of combo there on that final stop to one, of course, and also just to shorten up the track position too, and the pit stop to gain that position back. So, but then also the final green flag stop, how did you make that call of when to kind of blink, and do you jump in early? Do you jump in as late as you can? Were you kind of basing off of your competitors, or how did you kind of manage that decision there?
Well, Nick made the call. He's like, all right, let's go in now. And I was out there falling asleep in the draft, and I was like, I missed the pit because I'm so used to jumping in off the front stretch, but now it makes a lot more sense, a lot safer. Well, for the real guys, but it's a lot easier to jump in off of 3, a lot less cautions on pit entry and stuff. I missed it, so I just went one more lap around. I pitted with like the 87 and the 03 or something. I was able to get back up there, but with all the cautions, it helped out a lot to get that third.
Looked like the timing of everything worked perfectly, and then, like I said, some really, really good avoidances there, making the right calls to sneak through. Yeah, maybe got a little bit of a crinkle, but car obviously still able to perform really well. And I say, and then obviously that last restart, just able to kind of stay ahead of the 03 at the time of the yellow to grab the podium. So really good job here tonight, Jason. Like I said, you've definitely got some people popping on YouTube rooting you guys on. So always love seeing them in over here. So definitely want to give you the floor for any love and some thanks and shout outs for that podium tonight.
Yeah, I always got a bunch of friends and family watching, my mom, my dad, everybody that watches with them. Grandpa's watching. I'm sure my buddy Aaron's watching. Richie might be watching. You never know. That's Bob Ross, the Hoss. I'm sure you've seen him in there. And then, other people too, like my fiance Emily, and the teammates too, for sure. Jacob, Zach, and Nick. We made the best out of a tough situation and just tried to make it work. But here we are.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good result for you. Like I said, I'd say it's definitely a bit of an up and down. Let's say Nick able to still get a top 10. Unfortunately, didn't go as well for Zach. But like I said, was definitely up front, though, earlier in the race with the strategy. So, like I said, you guys have been working really, really well together. Obviously, this track's its own little animal. So, but yeah, hell of a job tonight, man. And definitely go enjoy this one. Look forward to seeing you in a week's time.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Brandon.
Good job, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, Brandon, we're going to now grab our runner-up finish here, and that is going to be in the number 87 machine, and that is going to be a Mr. Raymond Rittenauer. And so he's got the Lucky Dogs on the back of in the front of that thing. And Ray, Brandon and I we were watching you and Kevin most of that race, and it seemed like you guys didn't like to run the pack. You're like, no, let's take a half a lap down. And then, like, maybe halfway through the fuel run, let's go ahead and start going like 2, 3, 4 tenths a lap faster and chase everybody back down. What was that? Just a hey, let's do some damage avoidance and in case something big happens, and then when it's time to go, we go. Or were you guys just kind of like, let's see what we can do here? Because again, this is its own little animal of a track where you can really, I say, you can make 2 cars work really well here. I mean, take us through the strategy, and I mean, how much fun were you guys having just kind of playing around there until it was go time at the end?
It was kind of actually a blast there, but I was supposed to start in the pits with Kevin, and I didn't for some reason. So about 10 laps in, I said, screw it, and I was going to go. I went back and got behind him, and then we figured out that if we pretty much arced it and drafted correctly, then we were a little bit faster, and we ended up catching the pack. But it really didn't work out towards the end because of the cautions, but it was pretty crazy. I feel bad for coming down on Jack there towards the end, ruining his race. But I thought I was clear, but I wasn't.
Yeah, it's racing and some things happen, and I know you said it was crazy and fun to be back there and come back to the front. Each week we've seen, it seems like 3 or 4 guys, for some reason, a penalty or something, they just start in the back and guys go back to pick them up and they can catch back up. Is that just you said it was fun, but is it because the 3 year round, you're more comfortable by yourself compared to the pack, or is it just easier pushing back there, just the 3 of you guys? Or, like I said, every week we've seen somebody be back there with a group and they can just get to the front pretty easily.
I think it had a lot to do with tire wear because like I said, after about 10 laps, we would start the transition would happen to where we would start being a little bit faster. And I think because they're running so close in a pack, they're just pushing so much and they're burning their right fronts off. And since we can just arc the turns, we're saving a little bit more tire and we're able to be faster each lap.
Yeah, it was impressive. And it was something Brandon and I were watching too. Like you're saying, the main pack, is there's definitely no tire saving there. If you're on the inside line, you got to hug that red and white line. If you're on the outside, I mean, you're kind of just running right on the doors of those guys. Whereas we were watching, and you guys obviously kind of arc it down into the turns and open the wheel up, let it come back out, and this is a track you do have to manage those tires. And I think it's exactly what you said. I think that was where really the tires kind of came into play, and that was where you guys really set sail. Of course, I mean, it wasn't just that. You guys were doing some amazing drafting, working together to also get that lap time. So it was pretty fun to watch you guys. We go and we look and like, oh, where's Ray? Where's Kevin? And we'd look and like, oh, there they are. And we'd watch lap times. And then, like I said, like clockwork, once you got maybe 10, 15, whatever plus laps on, it's like, up, here they come. And it was really impressive to see you guys do it, even if it was by accident. So you guys definitely learned some tricks that unfortunately some guys might start to steal from you in future races here.
Oh, I'm sure they're watching.
Well, Ray, great job tonight, man. Before we let you go, though, definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for that runner-up this evening.
I'd like to thank my sponsor, Lucky Dogs, my teammate, Kevin. Thank Gabe for a good win there, and you guys for putting on a great broadcast.
Well, great job tonight, Ray. Always fun seeing you guys out here. I look forward to seeing you again here, hopefully in a week's time, sir.
All right, thanks.
All right, Brennan, that leaves us one fellow left to chat with, and that is going to be this guy here, the number 88 of Gabe Butler. And I told you pre-race, Brandon, say if there's anybody who's going to kind of go after it on a St. Patrick's weekend, it's going to be the 88 because he's rocking the Guinness scheme all year round. And Gabe, you did not disappoint. 61 laps led of the 107 with those extra overtimes. 0 incident points, and then I say there's some fun little features we get to see on the racing app stuff. Your average race running position tonight, Gabe, 1.7, and there were times where it just looked like you didn't even need a draft. These guys were just whatever you had going tonight. This thing you had it dialed in where you just had the lines working really well in that 88. I mean, take us through the night, the strategies. I mean, it seemed like you almost could do no wrong. It felt like this evening.
Well, to me, even though they call it a super speedway now, Atlanta is a kind of a driver's track a little bit. I mean, you have to save your tires. And my strategy was, if there's a caution, take 4. If it's under green, take rights. And just don't speed coming into pit road like I did on Thursday night. I butchered my pit entry on Thursday night and killed my race. But tonight I was able to get it down pat. And fuel wasn't an issue. We were good on fuel the whole way. And then even leading, I was lifting a little bit. My mentality was to, do 3 or 4 hard laps, get the tires warmed up a little bit, and then just start lifting and try to save. And I think that helped me maintain, at the end there anyway, maintain the lead a little bit. I don't know what the rest of the guys' strategy was behind me. I would assume either 4 or at least 2, but I seemed to be able to maintain the lead pretty decent. And when they got dirty air, I noticed they were pushing quite a bit. So I guess clean air is a big thing here in this car.
Yeah, you did some great driving tonight, and I just got a question for somebody maybe that's newer to the league or newer to iRacing that maybe watches. What's the key to your success of just the consistency? It's every year, every season we race, you're just consistent with it. And for somebody that's new, what can they practice to keep that consistency?
Well, first of all, your teammates. You need to get a good team around you if you can, especially on the super speedways. Here it's a little bit different, but on the super speedways, you can get a good teammates around you to help you. That would be, I think, number 1. But number 2, you got to be patient. I mean, just because you're full throttle on a super speedway doesn't mean you're going to pass every single car all by yourself. You're not. You just have to be really patient. Pick and choose when you can get around somebody by yourself, or if you have teammates coming to help you, or try and find the line that has the momentum. Not necessarily block it, but just try and either get out in front of it to where it'll boost you ahead. And just be aware. Just really be aware of your surroundings. And I've said this for years. If there's anybody that's new to the league or new to super speedway racing, I am more than happy to help them, give them some tips, do some laps, get in some practice sessions. I don't care. I mean, I had to learn from somebody, and I learned from one of the best there in the likes of Gary Jenkins and the Duke Conrads of the world and stuff. So I'm more than willing to pass on what I know. I don't know everything, but what I do know, I'd be more than glad to pass on to anybody within the league here.
Man, I appreciate it, dude, and I appreciate you, reaching out to these guys and saying you'll give them a hand, and don't tell Jacob Lee. But now that we got a close up on your race car with the decals you got on there, it's not, in my eyes, the best looking race car. And man, I hope you have a fun and safe weekend.
I appreciate it, Brandon. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to see those evil eyes and teeth in my back mirror, especially knowing that Gabe's behind the wheel. But no, Gabe, and obviously we talk about this fairly often with, again, the selflessness of you and your team, and then yeah, like you said, just the openness to helping guys come in. And sometimes it's hard for guys to want to reach out to say, like, hey, like, how do you do this, or how do I get better? And so yeah, really really cool of you, obviously, to be able to put that out there for these guys. Like I said, I've known you long enough to be aware of it, and I mean, it works, Brandon. I mean, think about it. Matt Wagner, he popped in over on Thursday night, last second, went in with the Gabe, won the race. So say if you want to win some races, go hang out with Gabe and learn some magic. But Gabe, I think you've probably got a Guinness or two waiting for you to celebrate tonight, so we don't want to keep you. Definitely want to give you the floor, though. Any thanks and shouts for that win this evening?
Yeah, big shout out to Dude and Eric hanging out in Discord. It's always a blast with those guys. Kind of a bit of bad luck on their part tonight, but bounce back next week. Hopefully, of course, you guys up in the booth, Brandon, Gael, Area 51, putting on this great league, and the admins. I mean, it's Charles, Bud. I mean, it's a thankless job. You guys do great. And everybody behind the scenes, it's a lot of work putting on these leagues. So, and everybody that was watching tonight, hope you enjoyed the race.
Congrats again, Gabe. Go enjoy it with your teammates, sir. Look forward to catching you again here soon.
All right, gentlemen. Have a good evening.
All right, Brandon. That is our race winner right there in the number 88 of Gabe Butler. And so we're going to speed this thing up because we never even got to catch him doing his burnout. So we finished the interview right as we got to it. So we'll definitely we got to show this because he's going to want to see that car celebrate as well. And yeah, like I said, though, some of the fun little stats that we're able to pull up, though, like I said, from the Sim Racing apps, or sorry, Sim Racer Hub, apologies. Yeah, I mean, an average running position of 1.7. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's how you come back from missing a race and being 24th in points. That's how you bounce back. And man, just you can't say enough. And we got the best drivers that race out there. If it's like Gabe saying he reached out, or guys like Charles and them working on the setups, and you and getting the broadcast. We really got the best guys around, and hopefully we keep growing. And it's always great to hop up in this booth with you and call just such a great race.
Yeah, and that's a lot of fun. I appreciate the kind words, but you're right, though. It's such a really good group of guys. It's one of the things that the admins, as he mentioned that as well as the one of the things that they try to harp on is like, hey, treat your fellow racers as if they're one of your best friends, because that's the thing is, I mean, we talk about, I mean, there's obviously times that things get heated and all that in competition and anywhere. But everybody's got to remember, like, hey, we're doing this to maybe get away from the real life stuff too. So that's one of the same things. Sometimes everybody's just got to take a quick step back and be like, hey, probably everybody's got something going on. If someone is down or just seems a little off, there might be a reason for it. So definitely in those ones, reach out to your competitors, your friends, and yeah, like I said, for Gabe, if you need a little bit of some help, and say he's offering his services, saw what he was able to do tonight, it's probably some pretty good options to have out there. So Brandon, as always, sir, a pleasure doing these with you. We'll be off again on Tuesday night on the IndyCar Series. We will be back in 1 week's time there, but we will be back again on Thursday night, though, with the Super Speedway trucks. Boomer Logan should be back in the booth with a new and improved computer. I say that's the dedication he has. Wasn't happy with the broadcast having some hiccups. He's like, all right, let me bump up my hardware. Let's make some magic happen. So looking forward to seeing what you guys have in the booth there next week, Brandon. But everybody watching that supports us, thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast. It's always a lot of fun to see you pop in and chat. Don't be shy. We love to see what you guys have in store and what you want to see and hear about. So as always, until next time, take care, stay safe, have a good night.